Now back to the show. This is The Law Show on CL 650.
Welcome back to the program. Joe Murphy, QC, and Angela Price-Stevens with Murphy Batista in studio with us. And we're talking for the final few moments of this program, a short few days before Christmas, about maybe some holiday reminders from a couple of personal injury lawyers who, I'm afraid, friends, have long and terrible stories to tell about people who do stupid things at holiday time, among others. And, of course, you have to start with drinking and driving, don't you, Angela?
That's right. The office party. What can you say? I worked for a firm. This is getting away from drink driving, which I probably shouldn't, but there was a particular firm that I worked for in Cambridge, and there were usually half a dozen children born in the following September.
Oh, my goodness.
Which just shows you how crazy people can be at office parties. They drink too much. They feel they have things to prove, and
repress feelings for co-workers.
Absolutely.
Sounds like university to me.
I was just going to say it really
sounds
does.
like university to me.
It absolutely does, but it happens with frightening regularity.
Well, I can attest to that from my colleagues, yes. But so parties in bars and clubs and what have you, but also if you're having your own party at home, just bear in mind that you have some responsibility for your guests. You cannot be seen as the host to be throwing somebody out of the door or asking them to leave or seeing them leave when they're clearly drunk with keys in their hand.
And this is true. This is an important item to remember, because we, the party hosts, are in some way responsible. Because what the law would say, that person, we should have never allowed that person to get into his car. We should have taken his keys. Is that our responsibility legally?
Essentially, yes. I mean, if you're serving up alcohol and you're at a party, we're talking about a home party.
Oh, yeah,
now.
sure.
It's just
some guests leave severely impaired.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And they leave, and the host knows that they're going to be driving.
Yeah.
Then the host, it bears some responsibility for allowing that to happen.
Okay.
The way you get around that is to make sure that people are leaving their cars at home and encouraging people to take taxis, and or to at least have a designated driver. You need to take reasonable steps.
Right. Being on the road anywhere at holiday time, Joe, is always a little dodgy, regardless of whether it's a house party, coming home from the office party, or heading up into the interior for a ski weekend or two.
Sterling, I had 2 cases years ago of families nearly wiped out in collisions on Christmas Day, where the car going down a highway went out of control, turned sideways, went into the oncoming lane, and was hit broadside. And the only survivor was the youngest child, who was brain injured. Both accidents. The identical. Slippery roads are dangerous.
Right.
Slippery roads are more dangerous if you don't have snow tires. An all-wheel drive car is no better on a slippery highway than a car that's rear-wheel or front-wheel drive if it has summer tires.
Right. By the way, legally, we don't have a lot of time, but let me interrupt you on just that one tiny point. If you're driving with improper tires and you cause an accident, because you didn't put out the dough and put on the winter snow tires, are you legally more responsible for not having changed your tires?
You may be, but your insurance covers that.
Oh,
whether
okay.
you have the good tires or the bad tires. If I'm thinking of the holidays, I want to make sure that if my kids go skiing or snowboarding, they have helmets. If they're going to be riding in someone else's car, I want to make sure not only that they have a seatbelt on, but every person in the car has a seatbelt on. An adult without a seatbelt on is a 180-pound missile that can cause terrible injury to a child sitting in the car. There's just so many things that, as I say, these are from experience from cases that I've done, where little things can be done that makes it safer for you and your family. And those are terribly tragic cases, because you look at them and say, oh my God, this could have been so different.
Easily avoided, right?
So helmets, drinking and driving is the obvious one, but any kind of highway travel in the wintertime, I just get very nervous, because I know from these cases what terrible things can occur. And over Christmas, people are driving long distance. There's a risk they're going to fall asleep. Conditions are poor. All sorts of things can go wrong. So they're just so many things that you have to worry about, particularly when you're dealing with the safety of your children.
Right, exactly. And Angela, I think your point about the house party, and if you're the person who's throwing the bash, then it's not enough to make sure everybody gets lots to drink and lots to eat. There's a little more to the assignment than that, and that makes sure, as part of that, is making sure everybody gets home safely.
That's right. That's right. Taxis and designated drivers are so easy. The people are shy away from getting a taxi, thinking it's expensive or they wouldn't be able to get one.
Could be the smartest $50 you ever spent in your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if many of the listeners got to get to know some of the clients and the clients' cases that I've dealt with over the years, they would see things very differently too.
I'm sure they would.
Yes.
Joe and Angela, thank you so much for coming in. Merry Christmas to you both. We're close enough that I can say that.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry Christmas, Sterling.
And
Take
please
care.
pass along our best wishes to the gang down at Murphy Batista, downtown at 650 West Georgia. We appreciate that.
Will do.
Thank you.
See you next time on The Law Show.